Good morning, cadets. Today I'll be taking up the chapter Glimpses of India. And today we are on a virtual tour to Assam. The name of the lesson is Tea from Assam. All of you know that Assam is famous for tea and silk. Everybody knows that. Assam is a state in northeastern India, south of the eastern Himalayas, along the Brahmaputra. Assam covers an area of approximately 78,438 kilometers. So you can see the lesson Glimpses of India, and the part 3 is Tea from Assam. So the state is bordered by Bhutan and Arunachal Pradesh to the north, Nagaland and Manipur to the east, Meghalaya, Tripura, Mizoram, Bangladesh to the south, and West Bengal to the west. And hope everybody has heard about the variety of rhinoceros. The one-horned Indian rhinoceros is famous in Assam. Now let's watch a beautiful PPT presentation on this state by Cadet Shreya Bhatt. Yeah, beauty of Assam.
Good morning to one and all present in this meeting, respected Ashamam and all my dear friends. Today it is me, Cadet Shreya Patil, going to present a PowerPoint presentation on the beauty of Assam. So first we're going to discuss India's biodiversity. As you all may already know, India is the second most populated country in the world. Yes, ma'am. First, we are going to discuss India's biodiversity. As you all may already know, India is the second most populated country in the world. India also has one of the largest biodiversities in the world. Indians live in harmony with people and with animals. Though India is a country with only 2.4% of the world's land area, it accounts for 7 to 8% of all recorded species, including over 45,000 species of plants and 91,000 species of animals. Moving forward to Assam. Assam is one of the 7 northeastern states of India. These 7 states are also known as the Seven Sisters. Assam also has one of the largest zoos in northeastern India. It covers an area of 78,438 square kilometers. It is known for its tea and silk. Assam is also one of the richest biodiversity zones in the world and consists of tropical rainforests, deciduous forests, riverine grasslands, bamboo orchards, numerous wetland ecosystems. Many are now protected as national parks and reserved forests. You can see some of the animals in the pictures. Now the cultures of Assam. Assam is the meeting ground of diverse cultures. The people of the enchanting state of Assam are an intermixture of various races. In Assam, the caste system, although it exists, is not as prominent as in other parts of India. Many religions such as Buddhism, Christianity, Hinduism, Islam, etc. are practiced in Assam. The state festival of Assam is the Bihu, which is celebrated in 3 parts during a year with great pomp and grandeur by all Assamese, irrespective of caste, creed, or religion. There are various elements which are being used to represent beliefs, feelings, pride, identity, etc., and are considered as important symbolic elements in Assamese culture. We are going to discuss these various elements now. One of the most easily recognizable cultural symbols of the Assamese people is the gamucha. It is also an integral part of all socio-religious ceremonies. It is also considered as an honorary piece of cloth. Next, we have Tamul Pan. Tamul Pan or Guapan are considered as the offers of devotion, respect, and friendship. Then we have the Japi. The Japi is a traditional conical hat from Assam, which is made from tightly woven bamboo and or cane and tokopath, a type of large palm leaf. The word Japi is derived from jap, meaning a bundle of toko leaves. Yeah, this is the top view of the hat, so you can't really see the conical shape. Next up is the Zorai. It is also a traditional symbol of Assam and is a manufactured bell metal product and is considered as an article of great respect by the people of Assam. It is also used to uh, serve prasadam. Thank you to one and all.
Thank you, Shrey. It was a wonderful presentation. Tea from Assam. So all of us know that Indians love tea, and Assamese tea is well known. Pranjal, a youngster from Assam, is Rajveer's classmate at school in Delhi. Pranjal's father is the manager of a tea garden in Upper Assam, and Pranjal has invited Rajveer to visit his home during the summer vacation. Chai garam, garam chai, a vendor called out in a high pitched voice. He came up to their window and asked, Chai sahab, give us 2 cups, Pranjal said. So it's a conversation between two friends. Pranjal, a local person from Assam, has invited his classmate Rajveer to spend his summer vacation in his hometown, Assam. And the moment they enter, they are welcomed by the chai wala and they sip the steaming hot liquid. Almost everyone in their compartment was drinking tea. Do you know that over 80 crore cups of tea are drunk every day throughout the world? Rajveer said. So, Rajveer was a very well read child. He said approximately 80 crore cups of tea is drunk. Whew, exclaimed Pranjal. Tea really is very popular. And our Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi, has made it more popular now. People say about him that he was selling tea in Vadnagar, Gujarat. The train pulled out of the station. Pranjal buried his nose in his detective book again. Rajveer too was an ardent fan of detective stories, but at the moment he was keener on looking at the beautiful scenery. So, Rajveer is coming to the Northeast for the first time, so he was interested to see the place, beautifully sceneries. It was green, green everywhere. Rajveer had never seen so much greenery before. Then the soft green paddy fields gave way to tea bushes. So now tea from Assam starts. Lot of tea bushes. It was a magnificent view against the backdrop of densely wooded hills. A sea of tea bushes stretched as far as the eye could see. So it's a very beautiful view when you look the whole densely populated place full of tiny tea plants. Wherever your eyes can reach, only tea. Dwarfing the tiny tea plants were tall, sturdy, shady trees amidst the orderly rows of bushes busily moved doll-like figures. So you must have seen, at least in the movies, how the tea leaves are plucked and all. In the distance was an ugly building with smoke billowing out of tall chimneys. Hey, a tea garden, Rajveer cried excitedly. Pranjal, who had been born and brought up on a plantation, did not share Rajveer's excitement. So, if somebody is a localite of Bijapur, and if the grapevine yards come, and a person like me from Kerala says, "Oh, so much grapes," the localite may not be so surprised, but the person who is a visitor who has seen it for the first time, the person gets excited. And Pranjal was not very excited to see the tea plantation because he was used to it. But for Rajveer, it was the first time. Oh, this is tea country now, he said. Assam has the largest concentration of plantation in the world. You will see enough gardens to last you a lifetime. So he told, oh, Assam means tea, largest concentration of plantation. I have been reading as much as I could about tea, Rajveer said. No one really knows who discovered tea, and there are many legends. So, how did people start drinking tea? That remains a mystery. There are many stories connected to it. What legends? Well, there is the one about the Chinese emperor who always boiled water before drinking it. So, one story from China is that a Chinese emperor, he had a habit of boiling water and drinking. So, what happened one day? One day, a few leaves of the twigs burning under the pot fell into the water, giving it a delicious flavor. It is said that they were tea leaves. So, one story is that the emperor used to drink hot water. Accidentally, one day, some twigs, small twigs, fell into it and it boiled along. And the emperor loved the taste. So, maybe it was tea leaves. Tell me another, scoffed Pranjal. We have an Indian legend too. Bodhidharma, an ancient Buddhist ascetic, cut off his eyelids because he felt sleepy during meditation. 10 tea leaf plants grew out of the eyelids. The leaves on these plants, when put in the hot water, drunk, banished sleep. So, another story is that Bodhidharma was a Buddhist sannyasi sadhu. He cut off his eyelids because during meditation he was feeling sleepy. And on those eyelids, what happened? 10 tea leaf plants grew, and when it was put in hot water and drunk, people understood that tea could keep sleep away. Tea was first drunk in China, Rajveer added, as far back as 2700 BC. In fact, words such as chai, chini are from Chinese. Tea came to Europe only in 16th century and was drunk more as medicine than as beverage. So lot of stories are there about tea. And one story is about the Chinese emperor who was having the habit of drinking hot water. Accidentally, the twigs fell and he loved the taste. Second is about the Bodhidharma, that is a Buddhist ascetic whose eyelids, tea plants grew and then it kept away him from sleeping. So, tea started in China. One point to be noted, though Rajveer is coming for the first time to Assam, he is a well read child. So he has read everything about tea. though he's seeing Assam for the first time, and he says it is has a history of 2700 BC, and the word chai, chini, they are all of Chinese origin. And tea came to Europe very late in 16th century, and people were using it more as a medicine rather like than beverage. We use it as a beverage, but Chinese people, these people of Europe, they are using it as a medicine. So, so here is Cadet Rishikesh. He'll tell us what are the benefits of drinking tea.
Tea and coffee are the most famous beverages of our country. Everybody drinks it twice a day, but it also has some benefits. Some say that it cures the cancer, some say that it keeps us awake. But it is really a very good drink which keeps our routine running. It does not let us sleep. Thank you.
So in this lesson, we have learned about how the tea originated. Once again, let's go to the beautiful Kurg, a presentation by Cadet Mayur.
Hello friends, today I am Cadet Mayur, will be presenting you a glimpse of Kodagu. First, we will go to a Kodagu district. The name of Kodagu came from the word Kodi, denoting its high perch on the western Ghats Madikeri, which was found by the Mudu Raj in 1681, was named after the founder as Madhvaraj. There are also that Madikeri is derived from the word Madi, which means a clean. This is a Kodagu district. In this map, you can find some of the places. Now, let's go to a Kurg. Kodagu, also known by its former name Kurg. It is an administrative district in the Karnataka state of India. Before 1956, it was an administratively can separate Kurg state, at which point was merged into an enlarged state of Mysore. Now let's move to the beauty of Kodagu. This is a Radiodonmal peak. It is the highest mountain of Madikeri Taluk of Kodagu district, Karnataka of India. It is the third highest peak in Karnataka after Mullayanagiri and Kuduremukha. It is located in Western Ghats range and reaches on the elevation of 1748 meters. This is also one of the beauty of Kurg, which is Chippihole Reservoir. It is built across the river, flowing through the basin of Karnataka. It was built in the year 1985 for purpose of irrigating nearby villages. The reservoir is used to fulfill the water demands of 865 hectares of land. The dam has a gross storage capacity of 5.097 MCM. This is Nisargadama. It is a forest resort set on an island which forests, bamboo groves, and abundant wildlife. Nisargadama is nature as we mean to be. The resort offers elephant and boat rides and has riverside cottages which looks awesome. And this is Nagarhole National Park and Omkareshwar Temple. Now, let us go to the Kulu festivals. It is Kali Bodu, which is celebrated when the end of paddy sowing has come to pass and the close of the agriculture working season is near. On this day, the weapons are taken out for puja room, cleaned and decorated with flowers. They are kept at hall and family worship the weapons. This is a Kaveri Sankraman. is one of the chief festival is associated with river Kaveri, which flows through the district from source of Kaveri rises. On morning of the day, the Kurk families get ready for event by cutting branches of mango and banana leaves. After completion, the woman touches her husband's feet and asks for blessings. This is a Butari is a traditional harvest festival of Kurk. It means a new rice, either in the month of November or early December, a few days before the festival. Members in village assemble and pray to the gods. The whole family come together and decorate with flower and preparing special food, which include poli poli. Now let's go to the Kadwa's culture. This is the folk dance of Kodava. Tribes have a traditional form of dance which called Umma. That they perform this dance in a group to tunes of songs dedicated to river goddess. There is another group of men who recite love pad or duty pad to honor the principal people present in a gathering. This is a tradition which the Kodwa peoples wear. It is the uniqueness is also reflected in their attire. Males wear a thick flag and kurpya chale and dagger piche kati, which gives him a robust appearance. Similarly, female have different take on how they drop their fleece, unlike the traditional form of dropping the saris across India. This is a design of Padavu, which means quality of the foods and all. Performed women of this tribe unique food preparations, some of the most delectable and items one may find in every Kadawa household. Thank you.
In this session, we have realized that our country, India, is very beautiful. And in all states, there is something worth watching. The language is different, the food is different, the dressing style is different. But ultimately, we are all one. So it speaks about the unity and diversity